weird people as writers. They're hiring
I
like.
know. I looked as soon as I saw the name, I looked him up on Comic Book Roundup. He's got like one credited Marvel book, like some Secret Empire tie-in, one of those random.
They're hiring like
ones.
young adult writers and New York Post and New York Times writers, and a guy from IO9, that website that does like comic book and reporting, is doing a book with someone. I forget which book I think he's doing the annual. No, not the annual. Oh fuck, I forget what he's doing. One of those fucking books, a new book that I'm not interested in. I can't even remember the name of it. So
yeah, that's not so much to care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's keep going here.
Might be in the news. Let me check. I don't know. Nope.
All right, this is episode 24.
Let me pull up the notes.
All right. All right, guys, how are we doing? Welcome to the Marvel Madness Comics Podcast. This is going to be episode number 24, continuing our Legacy Month here. We cover the various Legacy books for you coming out fresh off the Legacy one-shot. I am, of course, Brandon, as always, joined by my man, Trevitt. Trevitt, how we doing, man?
Not bad at all.
Coming to you on the Sunday night for a Monday afternoon posting. And we're going to run through our mission statement here, guys, like we usually do, tell you how we cover these books and what books we're going to cover. Let you know how to get a hold of us if you're looking for us, and then get into some news and some books and all the good stuff we cover here for you guys each and every week. We have 4 books on the agenda for you in our Legacy Week 2 lineup. So we continue to strive and fulfill our mission of providing you the ins and outs of the Marvel comic book universe. In between talking books, we chit-chat about some of Marvel's latest news, rumors, titles, characters, fun facts, and all that falls under the general going-ons of Earth Prime's umbrella. We try to cover a variety of titles for you guys each and every month in an effort to avoid any repetitiveness and an attempt to keep things fresh and informative for the listeners. We got the books divided up into categories usually, but again, this month we're going to do it a little different because of Legacy. So we got 4 Legacy books for you. It's going to be Falcon number 1, Despicable Deadpool number 287, Defenders number 6, and Amazing Spider-Man number 789 in that order for you. We're going to rate all these honestly and tell you whether on our own opinions and scale if you should buy, borrow, or forget them altogether. Buy means buy it now. Borrow means get that code, digital code from a friend, and forget it altogether means don't drop a dime on the book or bother tracking it down. If you're looking to get a hold of us, we got 2 ways to do that. First way is on Twitter. It's at MadnessMarvel1. Our DMs are open for business. We like to share new comic book day polls with you guys. And we even throw some digital codes out there for you. I will have some going up later on this week. Look for Spider-Man, Gwenpool, etc. Coming for you guys. And then I guess you get Marvel value stamps now, which we'll get into a little later. MarvelMadness0@gmail.com is our email address. And now we got that basic bit stuff covered and out of the way. We're going to get into this week's news, see what's out there, and see what Trevitt found for us. We'll be right back. All right. Get news going here.
All right. If you heard me giggling, I just downloaded Chip Zdarsky's Star-Lord with Chris Anka, and it's just so fucking funny. Like, I laugh. Like, Star-Lord works at a bar where like all the supervillains frequent. He's like the bartender there. It's fucking hilarious. It's so funny.
All right. Get into news here.
Him, Shocker, and like 2 other B-list villains are sitting around shooting the shit, like talking shit about people. It's so fucking funny. Why can't he be that good on Spider-Man?
Yeah, he's not good with Spider-Man, that's for sure.
No.
All right, we are back. This is Trevitt's news section. Trevitt's going to tell us what he found out for us this week or held back from us last week. So why don't you go ahead and tell us what's up with the news here?
A lot of this is holdback stuff, actually. Some of it I just pulled up today, but most of it's shit I held back. So first up, I got some news for the rest of the art teams for Phoenix Resurrection. I thought Lionel Francis Yu was going to be doing every issue, but it turns out he's just going to be doing the first issue, and he's going to be doing all the covers. So, excuse me, I had to burp there. Astonishing X-Men. It's going to be like Astonishing X-Men, so with like a rotating artist every issue. So, and some of the artists are familiar to Astonishing X-Men. They're actually the same artist who worked on that book. So, after Lionel Francis Yu, I think this is in order. We have Carlos Pacheco, and then Ramon Rosanes, Joe Bennett, who's fantastic. He worked on Deathstroke with Christopher Priest. And last and totally least, Koi Fam. I got to say, out of all these artists, they make me excited. I am a big fan of all of them, with the exception of Koi Fam. I'm not a huge fan of his. Anything I've ever seen from him, seriously, like anything that he's ever done, it either looks not that great or it looks rushed. The best stuff I have seen from him was the past few issues of Teen Titans, and the success of that art can be attributed to Phil Hester, who does the breakdown and the finishes. So he does like the better part of the artwork. Like, he just does the early shit, and then Phil Hester drives it home, and it's looked good. But Koi Fam's just not that great of an artist, I got to be honest. So he was kind of a bummer. Maybe he'll bring his A game. Hopefully, I hope he's just not doing the last issue, because I don't know if that's going to be a high note, or maybe someone will come in and help him do the breakdowns, finishes, or something. Because I've seen his Mighty Avengers, his early Teen Titans, like some X-Men stuff, and it's not like the Mike Carey X-Men run, and it's just not that great. It's the same style over the course of the past 10 years, and it's never been too good, so I'm not excited about that, but everybody else is great. Like,
yeah.
um
It's just weird they keep doing the random teams on the
it is
X-Men.
weird.
Not like a consistent
No,
one
on the
person.
limited,
They get like 4 or 5 people, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna team this book up.
yeah, it's weird on the somewhat limited series. Like Astonishing X-Men's a maxi series, so different artists every 12 times, for 12 different issues, and then this one's 6 issues. So I mean, or 5, I forget when I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, I guess maybe. But yeah, that is weird. Like, especially on a mini series, like you could totally get one guy to do a mini series. I could understand maybe, but I guess we'll see how it goes. So next up, I heard some cool news that I'm kind of excited for. Black Panther, there's going to be a Black Panther series dealing with his origin story. I believe the last time it was updated was around 2004 by Reginald Hudlin and John Romita Jr., but that trade has been long out of print. And with that, I think it's decent timing for an update, especially with his movie around the corner in February. The creative team looks good on writing duties. I'm going to butcher his name. I heard Stephen Colbert say it like 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't believe I've been saying it wrong all this time, and I can't remember how he pronounced it, so I'm just going to say Ta-Nehisi Coates, because that's what it looks like. And Evan Narcy, it's Narcissi. Yeah, so and on art is going to be Paul Renard, he's done some incredible stuff in various Marvel books, from Captain America Sam Wilson to some of the Star Wars books. The series will tell the story of a young T'Challa and his lineage, and show how the world learns about Wakanda for the first time, and it'll explore the reign of his father, King T'Chaka, and how his death changed Wakanda's history. It's a 6-issue miniseries, and will also feature painted covers by Black Panther proper artist Brian Starfleet. So that sounds pretty cool. That could be good. Ta-Nehisi Coates does a pretty good job. He got off to a slow start on Black Panther, but now he's in the swing of things. I think he's really got a handle on writing comic books, and I think he's playing that that Scott Snyder role that he does with James Tynion, or what he did with Steve Orlando on the Batman Shadow stuff, like helps him plan out the story and tells him where to go and stuff like that. So it should be interesting. What else? So I got some creative team news. The Legion miniseries is going to be written by Peter Milligan. I think the last time I talked about it, I didn't know who the writer or artist was going to be. And the artist is going to be Wilfredo Torres. I don't think Milligan needs an introduction, but if you're curious, you can check out Torres's art in Jupiter Circle by Mark Miller on Image. to get a feel for him. Also, it was a really good series. I like Jupiter's Legacy and Jupiter's Circle. The Rogue and Gambit series creative team is written by Kelly Thompson from Hawkeye, and the art from Pierre Perez from various DC, Marvel, and recent Valiant stuff. He's one of my favorite Valiant artists. I know I talked about the book, but I'm not sure if I reported on the creative team. So if I am, I'm repeating myself. Whatever, Last news story I got is a little bit for the X-Men. I'll keep it short and sweet as much as I possibly can, and that's we finally got story details on X-Men Blue Venom Poison X story, and I believe our on-air, off-air speculation. I can't remember if we were doing it on-air, off-air, but was correct. It's going to pick up where Venomverse left off when the Poison's coming to the 616 to do some crazy shit like they were doing in Venomverse. And Cullen Bunn's writing it, so that's cool. The art's going to be by Edgar Salazar, and he's okay, I guess. He's not, with some of the great art like Corey Smith or Jorge Molina. I was hoping it was going to be one of those guys. Edgar Salazar is good and all, but I don't know. He's hit or miss with me. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this looks really good. He did some Uncanny issues, and he's done some of the Iceman stuff, which I'm not really a big fan of. But so that's going to start in X-Men Blue Annual #1. What do you say?
Nothing. I just wish they would settle these artists down and get them on certain books instead of you just never know who's going to pop up where. I wish there'd be some consistency.
This is a problem with like comics in general, like DC. I mean, DC does a better job of keeping artists on, a way better job actually. But Marvel is really bad about it. Like they'll lock you in for like the first 2 or 3 issues with a good artist, and then the artist will disappear, and then maybe they'll come back down the line.
It just doesn't make any sense.
You know what it is? Like a lot of these artists, like the ones who have like good detail and stuff, I don't know if they just can't finish it on time. Like I don't know what the problem is. There are people like Salvador Larroca. I've never seen him be late. Like he's got so many books where he's had like 30-issue runs, 65-issue runs, 100-issue runs, and he's never late. It's him every fucking issue. There's never a fill-in artist. You don't not see him for 3 or 4 issues. And he does some beautiful fucking art. So it's like, what is the problem? Like, why can't we get a book nowadays where you get the same artist for at least 24 to like 50 issues? That just doesn't happen anymore. And I don't know if they think, right? Like, I don't know if they think people like it, because I don't know anybody who does.
I like to open a book and just have one style in it, especially if you're like a trade buyer. I don't want to buy a trade that's all different.
No, it sucks. And if you're gonna get 2 different artists, there's one thing DC did a really good job of. They got 2 artists that like complement each other really well. So Steven Segovia and Patrick Zircher on Action Comics when they first started. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. But I don't know. They're in like a big transition period where like they're getting a lot of new talent in there, and I think they're still trying to fumble around and get like editorial needs. And management needs a shakeup over their bad. Like guys who are doing it now just make a bad decision. Like when they were doing really, really good comics, even like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, all the names of the editors and the creative officers and the editor in chief, they're all different now. Like some of the people who were editors back then are in charge, and they were better on editors of individual books than they were from making decisions for a whole entire line. So I guess they're just not built for the new jobs that they have. They should have just stayed where they were because they were better at the jobs that they did. And whatever. So last but not least, X-Men Gold Annual #1 has a cool story coming just in case nobody's heard. It's going to be the original Excalibur lineup, and they're going to be reuniting to go on some cool adventure. But this is funny, right? Because it's an all-star writing team of Mark Guggenheim and Leah Williams. First of all, Mark Guggenheim, not a fucking all-star. Second of all, Leah Williams, nobody knows who the fuck she is. She wrote one.
Guggenheim does better TV than comics.
Yeah. And Leah Williams, like, I don't really know who she is. Like, I wouldn't call her an all-star. You can't call someone an all-star that nobody knows who the fuck you are. She did like a Brave New World story for Secret Empire, but other than that, that's the only thing they had listed for her, like in the little parentheses. And I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Maybe she did some work at Aftershock, Boom, Alterna. I have no clue, but I don't know who she is. So I can't speak to her all-star title. Anyway, the art is going to be done by World of Wakanda's Althea Martinez. That I have seen. I can speak some decent art, I guess. We'll see. It's okay. Joe Bennett did the best issues of World of Wakanda. Sorry, Althea. But she's okay. So we'll see how it goes. That's it for the news. It's pretty light. Everything else was like political nonsense that I don't give a fuck about. So
Yeah, no, I don't care either.
because who gives a shit, really? I mean, but yeah, that's it for the news.
Yeah, so we'll transition into the books here right after this quick little break.